So I thought up until I was about 19, I thought that I was stupid because I couldn't read. I just kept daydreaming. I kept thinking about like visualizing what I was going to do in the football game or the soccer game or, you know, Halo or whatever. And I just coming up with stories in my head, whatever it was, thought I was an idiot. But it came to a point where I said, you know what? I don't want to be stupid anymore. And so I'm going to start reading stuff because I feel like reading will maybe help me be smarter since I can't read. I'm going to read stuff that I have no business reading that could potentially interest me, that will be so challenging that I have to use every mote of energy in my body to read it. And so I got a journal, started reading stuff that I had absolutely no business reading, like Ralph Waldo Emerson. And at the time it was like, you know, it was like Henry David Thoreau and stuff. I had no business reading that. I couldn't read a sentence and tell you what I read. So I started writing down all the words and all the stuff that I didn't realize or didn't there my brain goes again. That I didn't understand, right? Actually, you know what? That part of the story, that doesn't even matter. The point is that I thought I was stupid and I had to put so much energy into the reading that I actually got really good at it. I got really good at reading and retaining information because I had to use so much energy in order to do it. And so now when I read, it still requires a lot of energy. Like I can't really lounge and read. There can't be a whole lot of stuff going on around me. I have to be focused. But when I read, I can retain a lot of the information, especially if I'm doing a good job reading and I'm reading with intention and for purpose. So that's my example. That's just one example of how I thought a weakness of mine, I call it a perceived weakness or a perceived flaw because it's really just in your own head. If you reframe it and you say, actually, yeah, I can't read. So I'm going to become a really good reader because I have to try so hard. I didn't figure that out until later where I was talking to my friend who was also a therapist and like a monk. And I was like, hey, is this a thing? Like, can I take something that I think I'm bad at and somehow it becomes one of my stronger skills? And he's like, absolutely. Because you have to put so much power into it, so much focus into it, it becomes this, I don't want to say superpower. It becomes a superpower. It's a superpower. It becomes a superpower, dude. Yeah, I mean, to a certain degree. So what is it for you? I was talking to a friend of mine, right? And she was like, I don't want to start a channel or, being making content or whatever. Same thing that I've been dealing with is like, oh, dude, I'm stupid. I'm not good enough. Like, I don't have, right? All BS. But she was saying, I don't want to do this because of my skin. Like my skin is not flawless. And I thought to myself about this reframe scenario and I was like, well, what if you take that perceived weakness and you make it your strength? So you are now you are now engaging in this vulnerability because your content or a part of what you're producing is based in that flaw that you think you have. Like, hey guys, like, these are the things that I'm doing to make my skin healthy. These are the foods I'm eating. This is the amount of sweat I'm producing because I'm working out. I'm getting more sunlight. I'm using or experimenting with these products, right? So now that becomes a way to fuel what it is that you're doing. I mean, same thing with this channel. For me, it's like something is calling me to do it. I'm here doing it. I like to procrastinate, but I sit down and now I'm engaged. And that thing that was holding me back of like, oh, you can't do it. You don't have the skill. You don't have the expertise. You don't know what you're doing. That is becoming a part of what I'm sharing to the world because I'm having to overcome that. So in my overcoming, I can say, hey, this is what is working for me. This is what I'm doing. This is why it's helpful. And then I can share that with you. So what is your perceived weakness or multiple weaknesses? And how can you flip it on its head? How can you engage with it? Well, first, reframe in your mind what it means. So you pinpoint something and you're like, hey, there it is. What if I invert it? What if I turn it inside out? I can't read very well. So what if I'm just not reading material I'm interested in and it's not challenging enough? Maybe I should look up books that I think that I would have no business reading, that are just like, they're beyond me. But are they? Maybe you're just not reading the right stuff. I mean, that's if you can't read like me. It could be any number of things that you can use to fuel you. Man, Einstein evidently couldn't speak until he was like 4. People thought that, his teachers and stuff, this is a rumor. This is what I've heard and read. His teachers at school thought that he was remedial, that he couldn't hang. Joke's on them. That's pretty funny. But the thing was he applied his visualization, because maybe he spent that first 4 years of his life being nonverbal. He could see and visualize better. And when you look at the things that he did for physics and math, he basically came up with thought experiments, is what he called them, these visualizations. And that helped him put together these, bangers. That was a pun, I think. Big Bang? Did Einstein have anything to do with the Big Bang? Should we consult? Let's check this out. Did Einstein have anything to do with the Big Bang? Dude, the Big Bang's probably wrong, by the way. I have absolutely no evidence to support what I just said, but everything is changing so fast. Like 100 years ago, I heard this in a book. What book was it? My Big Toe, Thomas Campbell. I was listening to that book and he was like, yeah, 100 years ago, scientists were bereft because they were like, oh, we figured everything out already. Can you imagine? Again, yeah, we'll see. All right. Dude, I cannot read, so I need these. All right. So I asked ChatGPT, did Einstein have anything to do with the Big Bang? Not directly. Einstein's work laid the foundation for modern cosmology, but he initially resisted the idea of a dynamic universe that could expand or contract. Is that true? Maybe. Maybe not. What can you believe these days? Think about what your perceived weaknesses could be and then turn them on their head. Do a headstand.